Hi there YouTube, this is Tahmid reporting from the Frankenstein again. I know it's been some time since I last posted. How long has it been? 3 months? It's just I've been extremely busy with my exams and other priorities. It was just one thing after another and I really needed a break. But now that I'm back, I'll be posting on a regular basis. I actually have a lot of content planned, so please stick with me. You have a lot of content right your way if this is something you enjoy. I should actually take a page out of Mr. Joy Amin's book. The way the guy posts is just monstrous. Like 3 or 4 videos dissing out. It's just fascinating. And I know I'm a little late on this, but congratulations, Mr. Joy, on reaching your 30,000 landmark sub. You absolutely deserve it. Actually, you deserve more. The amount of dedication and work that you put in the community, that number does not remotely reflect it. You deserve way more. Anyway, I'll quit my jabbering and get right to it. Let's address the elephant in the room. We're looking at today Bvlgari's Aqva Amara. Now, this beauty has garnered a lot of positive attention in the fragrance world. We're gonna explore if it is justified, if all that is justified or just hoax. Stick right with me to get my thoughts on this beauty. Let's start with the presentation then. Apologies because I don't have just a perfume box. I got a gift box, saw it on a very good deal, and I had to score it. I actually got this when I was back home vacationing. A huge shout out to Perfume Bangladesh for hooking me up with a sweet deal. Do check them out. They have a huge collection of fragrances, and I hear recently they have just launched their own fragrance store. And most of them fragrances are pretty decently priced. So this is how it came. Bylgari written on top, Acqva Amara here. You have the concentration, Eau de Toilette, and it has actually a 100ml bottle with a 15ml decant bottle, which I'll show shortly. The other details, the batch code and stuff are here. It's pretty challenging with the translucent property of this box. Not that I'm complaining, it's just I don't like seeing myself on a presentation that's been displayed. And you have more details here about the ingredients and whatnot. This is how it opens. Pretty nice presentation. It sets in a silhouette right in there. Let's set it up. See? 100ml bottle comes up with this 15ml decant, which I ran out of way back when. If any of you know how to refill this bad boy, please do let me know. I've literally tried everything, twisting, turning, pushing, pulling to get the sprayer out, but it just doesn't work. Let me know if there's any mechanism that I can follow to open it and hopefully refill my decant bottle. So this is how it comes, the bottle. Follows the usual structure of the Aqua line, oval in shape. The only thing that I hate about these bottles are these don't stand. just lays down there, and I really don't like my fragrance bottles to lay down there. This is pretty cool though. I like this, screwing around with the bottle. Not a good idea though. Anyway, so you have Acqva Amara inscribed here, and pretty neat detailing on the sprayer, Bvlgari. More detailing here. The sprayer sprays. Not the biggest fan of the sprayer, but shoots out a decent amount of juice. The distribution is good, but it gets stuck. I could imagine myself struggling when I'm decanting from this. That's about it for the presentation. And oh, the bottle actually looks like a pearl, so I think it is keeping in line with the theme that they were going for. The poster boy seems to implicate this is a summer fragrance, and the bottle nicely captures the imagination on that spectrum. Fragrantica, the nose behind this is Jack's Cavalier. It was released back in 2014, and already I hear this is getting discontinued. So if you really like it, I suggest you stock up on it 2 or 3 as a backup bottle, because once it gets discontinued, the prices are gonna soar. Now the notes breakdown. For top notes, it has Sicilian mandarin orange. For the mid notes, you have neroli, watery notes. And for the base notes, you have Indonesian patchouli leaf, and there's another note. Let me check. It's olibanum, probably some type of frankincense. Correct me if I'm wrong. Anyway, those about the notes. Now, let me tell you what I get from it. Let me remind myself what I get. 2 sprays are good enough. Let that settle down for a bit. Yep, right off the bat, you can feel that opening. It is a fragrance that likes to come out there, introduce itself without any introduction. That's the kind of fragrance it is. Yeah, on top note, the Sicilian mandarin orange is quite prominent. You can get that right off the bat. Yep, you can get that. And neroli. I think the neroli becomes more of an active player when it dries down a little. When it does dry down a little, you get that aquatic, yeary feel from it. So I definitely do get the mandarin orange, and also the neroli. I'm a big fan of neroli. Neroli Portofino, Versace Puram. Those are really the fragrances that are right up my alley. So if you are someone who loves fragrances like this won't be a miss. This will be a huge hit. On the dry down, I do get the patchouli, but the olibanum, I'm not so sure. But I do get the patchouli. Now that I look at it, olibanum is a type of frankincense. It does have that incensey accord when it dries down at the base. So I think this stuff has all the lists. You can actually detect every type of accords, and it is fairly straightforward, nothing complex. This is the kind of fragrance which is, I would say, very zesty, juicy, uplifting, bright, everything that I would describe a summer day by. This has all of it, so appropriate time to wear it would be summer, but you can also pull it in the spring, also need I say even in the fall days. But on my skin this actually performs in high temperatures, so when this is the kind of fragrance that gets better the more hotter it is. It projects beautifully, and the way and the sillage on this is just gorgeous. It literally leaves a trail behind you. Someone can actually get to you by the trail it leaves behind. The compliment factor is very high on this as well. Let me I have really fond memories of compliments with this. I'll start with the most popular one. The first one was this is back when I was home as well, when I recently purchased it, and I went to the gym wearing this. So one of the co-trainers, he was, for some reason he was right like 2 or 3 feet away from me. Like he was walking around for a bit around my treadmill. I could tell my fragrance was projecting beautifully. As I said before, it projects beautifully with the heat. This guy, after walking for a bit, comes really close to me, like 2 or 3 feet just beside my treadmill, and was just standing there and looking at me awkwardly. But throughout that awkwardness, I finished my session, and once I'm done using my treadmill, when I was getting down, he's like, bro, what are you wearing? This stuff is so beautiful. You're projecting nicely. What is it? I'm like, you could have just asked. You didn't need to stand there and make me awkward for my entire session. That's the kind of compliment it boasts. Another time was back here. I wore it to my uni, and while I was, one of my colleagues said, "For a man, you sure smell." This is Iko. This is what he said. "For a man, you sure smell really sexy. Stay away from Piccadilly though." I don't know what kind of reference it was making to. No offense, but that's how beautiful this fragrance was, and from those compliments alone, could be, yeah, the hype could be justified. Not just because of the compliment, but this stays, like, projection wise, it projects for 3 hours on my skin, and longevity is huge as well. 8 to 10 hours depending on the circumstances, but minimum 8 hours. I get 8 hours of longevity from this. Age group that I suggest for this, since it's really bright and summery, bright and uplifting and rejuvenating, and have this aquatic, eerie feel about it, I think the more appropriate age group would be someone from 18 to 28, 29. Age group over that would maybe prefer something barbershoppy. So I would go with that, 18 to 28 or 29 age group for this, because this is very juvenile in a way, since it's so bright and uplifting. It could be worn casually, and even, let's say, house parties, beach parties, pool parties. I think it's really great for situations like those. I wouldn't wear this in the office, but it could be worn. It just announces itself. It's the kind of fragrance that announces itself. If you don't want to offend people, not that it's unpleasant, it just announces itself, something that most people in the office don't want to do. Besides that, the versatility factor on this is really high. I could really see this fit the bill for any occasion in summer days. But primarily I'll wear this on daytime, in keeping in line with this zesty and uplifting theme that it projects. So my rating would be on this, projection, I'll give it 10. For versatility, 9. For Uniqueness, I think it's pretty unique from what I've smelled up till now. I find it pretty unique the way it is uh, put together. Another thing, but it could be a little polarizing. A word of caution. Some people find it egg smelling. Even my own brother told me, like, what were you wearing, man? It smells like egg. I mean, the nerves of this guy. It was like, maybe you're eating too much egg on your diet. That's why the smell of egg is somehow adjusted to your system. The nerve of this guy really, really pissed me off. Some people would object to that, but if you're the kind of person who doesn't find that egg smell in it, I think this is a gem. I don't personally. I'm not on the egg group. I'm actually on the contrary of the egg group, and I find it really, really pleasant, really lovely, and absolute value for money, because it gives you projection, it gives you longevity, performance, and it's just an absolutely beautiful fragrance, to be honest. And it's just sad that it's getting discontinued. I don't know if I would be able to score a backup bottle of this in a sweet deal, but if I manage to do it, I'll definitely do it. Since I've covered projection, uniqueness, versatility, my overall rating would be, I'll give it 9.5 out of 10. Very high. I think this is the highest I've come up with since my reviewing career started. So this is an actual gem, and all the accolades surrounding this gem is really justified. I could vouch for it. But please do get your nose into it before you're purchasing it. There's a high chance you may like it if you're a fan for summer freshie, and summer freshies do not last much. I was quite surprised how this lasted, and especially on clothes, it could last for days. So that's about it for my take on this beauty. Take care, and as always, the Frankenstein!